This is class 3, and in this class we're going to be talking about a set of new, more advanced techniques, ideas and methods that will allow you to really hone in and focus in on exactly the kind of results you want. We're going to start by a discussion of operators and how you can use them to really focus and filter your results. So an operator is this word I've been using. Now what does it really mean? It's a simple idea actually. An operator is something you stick into the query that signals that you want Google to do something special with the results that come back. For example, if we do a query like this for Tesla coil, which we saw earlier, you know you get back a bunch of results about Tesla coils and Nikola Tesla and so on. But suppose you want to just limit it to pages that come from stanford.edu. You add an operator, in this case, the cite operator, right there. And what that does is it limits the results to just from that website, just stanford.edu. Keep in mind there are many different kinds of operators, and in this class we're going to go through probably the top 4 or 5, the ones that I use a lot. There are lots and lots of operators. We won't cover most of them in this class, but these are the ones that we use sort of day to day and actually give you a lot more power. Here's the key idea to remember about the way operators work. You can imagine this sort of giant blob of all the results for the search Tesla coil. When you add in an operator like cite:/stanford.edu, what it's doing is giving you now the subset or just a restricted set of those results. What it effectively is doing is saying, here's the entire space of all possible results. Now just give me the ones from just this site. This is a really powerful operation, and I want to make sure you understand it. If we did that Tesla coil example all over again, you can see here lots of results. Now I'm going to limit it and add in the cite operator, cite:/stanford.edu. And if you look through the results here, you'll see that all the links, all the green URLs that we talked about last time are here, and they're all from stanford.edu. This is an incredibly great idea because now look what I can do. I can say, look at, instead of just .edu sites, I can look at .gov sites. .gov is the top-level domain for government. So these are now documents from only governmental websites. Now you can put in most anything you like here as long as it's a legitimate domain name. One thing to remember about these operators is you cannot have a space between the colon and whatever follows. So if I put it, for example, a space in here, cite:/gov, what it's doing now is not using that .gov as an extension. It's now searching for anything out there. You can also use country codes as effective site restriction operations. So when you say cite:/whatever, you can put something like .in for India, .es for Spain, or .br for Brazil. You can even do something as crazy as .aq for Antarctica. Who knew? You also should be aware that some top-level domains, also known as TLDs, have sort of special semantics. So you might see something like stanford.edu. Other kinds of US institutions have the edu extension, the edu top-level domain. But note, it's only US institutions. Same thing is true for .mil, US military. In other countries, you might see a notation, a top-level domain like .co.uk, which is roughly equivalent to the .com designation in the US. And other countries might use a .go before the country top-level domain name, like .go.ke for Kenya. You can see that using these as your top-level domain restrictions for site operations makes your searching scoped very powerfully. Let me give you one more example appropriate to the kind of work you might be doing. Let's explore cite.gov, and now let's look for something like business, workplace, accident rates. A couple of things I want to point out here. There are a lot of pages here now that are all coming from .gov sites. A lot of these will have databases within them. So for example, OSHA has a ton of data available to you, and you can find it through a site restriction mechanism like this, but you have to go to that page then to actually get into that database. Now I happen to know that one of the words that you can use in place of marine agriculture is called mariculture. So let's try cite.com, mariculture, like that. and you can find stuff like that. Now, the reason I want to point this out is now I can use this same trick on my other Google content types. For example, if I click on images, guess what I'm getting? I'm getting now sites that are all.com that have the word mariculture and somehow describe what that is. So let me change that to a site.gov. And now we're getting sites that are only governmental sites in the US that have images involving mariculture. This is a great trick because this same site operator now works on images, it works on regular web searches, and if I click on news, in this case I'm not getting anything because I've got not much news here from the government about mariculture. So let's try something different. Let's try something like, say, business, workplace. Now remember, I'm in news at this point. So see the tab on the left-hand side that says news? I'm using the same trick of the site operator to limit the scope of what I'm searching for in news to just the government news about business workplace. So you see all the results here are, in this case, Department of State press release, whitehouse.gov, Access Washington. These are all governmental sites. This is a great way, a great trick to remember how to find content just of the places and sites that you want. In this lesson, we've talked about how to use operators. We're going to talk about a few more in just a minute, but the first one I want you to remember, the one I use the most often, is the site operator. It restricts your searches to just the content within a particular domain site, within a particular website. So this is good for .com, .gov, .edu, and you can also put in the entire name of the website, stanford.edu.